it's time for Jay James on Faith. Every week, the Charlottesville radio host and his guests consider issues confronting local religious groups.
And tonight, Jay's guest is someone who usually gets to ask the questions. Tonight, he answers them.
Well, thanks, Jim and Jennifer. Today, two familiar topics, religion and politics. And I'm glad to welcome one of my good friends and colleagues who has his own radio program here in Charlottesville, and that would be Rob Schilling is with us. How are you, sir?
Jay, thanks so much for inviting me today.
Yeah, good to see you. I wanted to bring you on to talk about a topic like this because you are very outspoken about your faith when I've heard your program, and you're very outspoken politically.
In general.
Active in a lot of the different events and civic things that we see, and you're a former city councilor, so that goes without saying. So let me ask you first, religion and politics. What role does faith have more specifically in politics in your mind?
Well, if we look back to the foundations of America, our founders recognized that in order to keep the republic, people needed to have faith in God. They knew that was a prerequisite for maintaining this beautiful country. And I think people who today are serving in office should have faith in God. They should have the fear of God, but also they need to understand where the line is. We don't live in a theocracy.
What do you think about faith-based organizations who get really civically active, like an Impact?
Well, there's a real problem with Impact and groups like it, the Virginia Interfaith Movement of Power and Light, that's a statewide Impact-type organization. These groups are no more than what I would call a political subversion of religion. They're not religious groups, they're political groups that have subverted these various religious groups for a social agenda. I think they're very dangerous, and I think that is one of the conquests that was set forward by progressives over 100 years ago, was to conquer religious groups, and this is the way to do it.
Finally, Rob, we know that political parties have been pigeonholed to an ideology or a faith. Do you still see that when you look at Republicans and Democrats identifying with one faith more than another?
Well, I absolutely do. I think if you look at the platforms of these parties, you'll see where God is welcome. And not that God has any political identification with one party or another, because he absolutely does not. But if you look at the parties and want to see where God is welcome, I think it's very obvious that one party will stand for life and the other party stands for death, and one party invokes God and one party runs from him. So I think it's unfortunate, but that's the reality of today's political scene.
Rob, thanks for your thoughts today. I appreciate it.
Most welcome, Jay. Anytime.
He's always ready to give opinions. Guys, back to you.